semester. All honor students and BSc Life Sciences students may choose any GE paper from the common pool of GEs except for the GE paper being offered by their parent department. And the GE paper chosen in second semester may be same as the one taken in first semester. Like if you have taken economics as GE in the first semester, you may continue with economics or you may change it to history, pol science, physics, any other paper you wish to. And all the BA program and BCom program students can choose any one GE paper from a pool of languages: English, Hindi, Sanskrit, Tamil, and Telugu offered by the college. The students from BA program who have taken English as one of the languages in GE1 now should opt for the other language in the second semester. They will study English as GE in their third semester. And the students of BCom program who have taken Hindi as one of the languages in GE now should go for the other language in the second semester. Students of BA program with 2 languages as the core disciplines can choose from the open pool of generic electives. And students of BA program with 1 language as the core discipline can choose only one GE language, and the other GE shall be the open pool of GEs. So they will learn only one GE language, which they may study in first semester and third semester, or second and fourth semester. And BA BCom program students who have never studied any modern Indian language up to 8th class can choose from the open pool of GEs offered to all the honors students. I'm again repeating, GE paper may be same as chosen in the first semester for honors students. They may continue or they may change. But for program students, you should change the language. You will study one language in first and third semester and the other language in second and fourth semester. So let us start with the presentation department-wise. All the teachers will be sharing the link of the Google form floated by the department. You may fill up that form to register. If you have already filled a Google form for registration in some GE, need not to fill the form again. So let us start with the first presentation. We have Department of Biochemistry with us. Ma'am, please.
Yeah, thank you, Deepti. I will share my screen. Yeah, is it visible?
No, ma'am.
Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm here to give an orientation on the GE course offered by the Department of Biochemistry. The title of the course is Techniques in Biochemistry. These are briefly the objectives. Idea is to introduce very basic biochemical and biophysical techniques to the students, which are going to help them later on in biological research. The emphasis is also on the experimental skills in the form of practical exercises, which will enhance their understanding of the technique as well as the principle behind these techniques. So this course is divided into 4 units. First one is separation techniques, which deals with how to prepare sample from a biological source, like it can be bacteria, plant, or animal tissues or cells. How do you lyse the cells, different ways of cell lysis, and then how do you perform salting out, that is to fractionate your extract into different classes of proteins, and then some basic idea about dialysis. And then rest of the unit is dealing with centrifugation and sedimentation with their principle. And students also learn about various type of centrifuges as well as different type of rotors and their applications. Second unit is purification techniques, which deals with mainly 4 or 5 types of chromatographies. Very basic set of chromatographies: paper chromatography, thin layer chromatography, and then 3-column chromatographies, which is molecular sieve, ion exchange, and affinity chromatography. So they get an idea about the principle behind all these techniques and their applications. Third unit deals with electrophoretic techniques. Again, starts with the principle of electrophoresis and then different variants of electrophoresis like polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis, SDS page, and agarose electrophoresis and their applications. And also they are taught about the staining procedures which are used to detect proteins and nucleic acids in the gel. So in contrast to the second unit, which is only talking about separation, this is separation as well as analytical technique where you can have many applications: separation, analysis, study the purity of a sample, as well as how to use electrophoretic techniques to determine the molecular weight of proteins, not only proteins, nucleic acids also. Fourth unit deals with spectroscopic techniques. The underlying basis, we start with the introduction to electromagnetic spectrum, and then we discuss what are the different ways in which matter interacts with electromagnetic radiation or vice versa, electromagnetic radiation, how it interacts with matter, and then how we can make use of this phenomenon to study biomolecules. So we also deal with working of a spectrophotometer, what is the principle behind the working of a spectrophotometer, single beam and double beam spectrophotometer, and the application of UV and visible spectrophotometry in biology or biological science. These are the practicals associated with this course, techniques in biochemistry. Almost each unit is covered in terms of practicals. 1 or 2 practicals are related to all the 4 units. So they learn how to make cell extract, then how to separate and identify amino acids by thin layer chromatography, and then column chromatography, and then 2 experiments using a spectrophotometer, absorption maxima of a biomolecule or any molecule, and then how to calculate the extinction coefficient and what are the applications of uh, extinction coefficient determination and so on. And then 1 exercise on agarose gel electrophoresis and polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis. So by the end of this course, students should be able to gain an in-depth knowledge of the principles of these 4 techniques: basic biological science techniques, centrifugation, chromatography, electrophoresis, and spectrophotometric techniques. And this course will also give them an opportunity to get hands-on experience. So we have listed only 6 practicals, and we have about 14-15 weeks. So almost each practical we design some variation, or we tend to repeat them or add 1 or 2 value-added experiments if time permits. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, can you just repeat the title of the paper?
Techniques in biochemistry.
Okay.
So are we taking some questions or?
Ma'am, if there will be any specific question, I will let you know. As
Okay.
of now, there is no such. You
Right.
may type the link of the Google form you have floated in the chat box and the name of the teacher and the department name.
Right. Okay. Okay. I'll ask Ravi to do that.
Yeah, yes, I think Ravi is doing. Yes.
He has the link. I will request him.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Next,
Thank
we
you.
have Department of Botany with us. Ma'am, you may stop sharing now. The Department of Botany, who's there with us?
Ma'am, Dr. Navneet.
Okay, Dr. Navneet, you may please go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm going to talk about the ethnobotany, the GE-2, which is offered by the Department of Botany. I think I'm audible.
Yes,
Okay.
you are.
Yeah. So the ethnobotany is having a, as we know that it's a 4 credit course, and where the learning objective of this course is to have the knowledge of the plants used by the local communities, tribals, ethnic groups, and their nutritive and medicinal values. So basically, by this course, we will be able to connect with the tribal people, how they are living, and how the culturally they are using different plants and using them for various purposes. So this course, if we take the example of one example from the ethnobotany, for example, Trichopus gelincus, which is used by the Kani tribal community in Kerala. Basically, the Agastya cordon range in Kerala, and this plant is known as Chattan Kalanji, and which is literally meaning the Satan destroyer. This plant they are using for from a long time, from centuries, and this plant is keeping them energetic and in a and it was found that when they were moving with few scientists, the scientists were exhausted, but they were very energetic because they were continuously consuming this plant. So that is why it was the scientists got to know about this plant and how it is useful. So somehow it is this, then examples to show that how this course can be useful for the students. They will get to know about the tribal cultural things. This course is divided into 5 units. The first unit is about the introduction to ethnobotany and basic taxonomy, where we will talk about the various major and minor ethnic groups, the tribals which are present in India, and we will also discuss that how it is a interdisciplinary science, where we'll talk about the how it is connected to chemistry, it is connected to microbiology, genetics, and so and many more. So we will discuss about various connections with the other science, and we will also talk about the tribal communities. We will also talk about that various plants used by the tribes, and for example, the various food plants, medicinal plants, various plants which can be used as intoxicants and beverages, and how they can be used for the resins and oils. The unit 2 is basically about the applied ethnobotany, where we will talk about how the ethnobotany can play a role in the modern medicine and how it is now used. We will also talk about some of the important plants which are focused in this syllabus. That is Azadirachta directica indica, which is commonly known as neem, Osmium sanctum, which is basically the tulsi, Vitex negonda, Gloriosa superba, Tribulus tetris, Pongamia pinnata, Cassia auriculata, and Indigofera tinctoria, which is basically for the indigo dye. So we'll talk about these plants, how they are useful, how we have adapted from these plants from the tribal community, and how they can be used for various purposes. Then the unit 3 will talk about the ecology of ethnobotany. We will talk about the nutritional ethnobotany. We'll talk about the linguistic ethnobotany, that how we can do the naming of the various plants and animals. We'll talk about the medical ethnobotany, where we will study the Indian medicinal plants and their traditional uses. We'll also talk about the ethnopharmacology, where we will do the scientific study of materials used by the ethnic and cultural groups as medicines. Then we'll talk about the ethno-veterinary knowledge, means how the tribal people are using the plants for the welfare of the animals and for taking care of the animals' health. So this unit will talk about all these aspects. Then we have the unit 4, which is basically research methods in ethnobotany, where we will see the others perspective and the local perspective. So both perspectives will be seen in this course, and we will talk about the field work, how it can be done, and we will also try to go some places for the field work purpose. For example, some medicinal plant institute. We will also the students will also be told about how to make the herbarium. We will talk about the ancient literature and oral traditions, then the archaeological finding inferences and various religious and sacred places. We can go to the we may plan to go as per the time the Central Institute of Medicinal and Aromatic Plants, which is in Lucknow. We can plan for the Dabur, which is in the Ghaziabad, and the Patanjali Yogpit, where we can find out we can get to know about the oral values, the oral traditional things from these institutes. The unit 5 is about the protecting knowledge. Basically, it will talk more about the IPR, the database, knowledge resources. We will also discuss about some case studies, that how the modern pharmacological products are formed from the traditional medicines, how this journey goes on. this journey went on, and then we will take the example of Trichoepis delinicus, which I have just talked about in the starting, by the canine tribe, and then Artemisia species, which is used for the malaria cure. We'll also discuss about the various ethnobotany and legal aspects. Ethnobotany as a tool to protect interests of ethnic groups, because whatever plant sources we are talking about from the tribes, we have to protect their natural habitat. Otherwise, again, we will lose those important plants. So all these things will be discussed in this unit, that is protecting knowledge. Then in case of practicals are very vibrant in this case, in this GE course, where we will do the collection and identification and preparation of herbarium of 3 ethnobotanically important plants with appropriate references. Then we will also make the crude extract of the ethnobotanical important plants, where we can use different solvents to make the crude preparation, which then further be used, and if time will permit, for the for converting into some paper. Then we can have the project work, where we will talk about or we will discuss with the students, and will encourage them to make the project work, which will include documentation. They will do some literature survey from the tribal communities. They can do the literature survey. We will also encourage the students from get to know about the various medicinal plants from the local tribes from their own area. Then the collection of information on ethnobotanically useful plants from traditional healers. So these are the practicals which are definitely very interesting for the students. And since it has a project work, so they will definitely like this course more. These are some suggesting readings which can be used by the students. And the learning outcome will be that the students will have an understanding of the value and usefulness of the natural products and their efficient use by the local communities as food, medicine, oil, resins, and various number of uses are there. So this will be the learning outcome, and the students will be able to connect themselves more with the tribal culture and their food values. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Navneet. You may share the link of the Google form in the chat box along with your contact details. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Next, we have Department of Chemistry with us.
So yes, from the Department of Chemistry, I will be presenting my screen.
Welcome, Shafali.
Yeah, hi Dikti. So can you ask the person?
Yeah, Navneet, yes, please.
Yes, ma'am, I'm just doing. Is it stopped?
No, it has
No,
not.
it is still there.
Stop sharing.
I have done, but it is showing pause sharing, not stop.
Now it is done.
Yeah,
I'm done.
yeah.
Done. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Shafali.
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yes, your screen is visible.
Yeah. So as the previous Department of Department of Biochemistry and Department of Botany, they have said that the importance of biology in life. So even I agree that biology is the science of life. And when we study about the various biological processes which involve the complex reactions, now the question is why we are alive? What makes us alive? Because we all understand that there are so many biological reactions which are happening inside our body. And all these reactions, they can be explained only by chemistry. Okay, so when we talk about understanding the reactions, so is it like every reaction is happening inside our body? The answer is no. In our body, we have some specific reactions which are happening. So Department of Chemistry is floating the course on the generic elective, which primarily talks about the chemistry of those functionalities which are happening inside our body. So we are offering the course of the GE elective, the generic elective, that is the chemistry of oxygen containing functional groups and their applications to biology. So here, when I say we are offering this course, so what is there in the course which makes this exciting? In this course, we are fundamentally talking about the chemistry of oxygen containing functional groups. As I just said, that these functional groups, they are very important to explain the biological processes which are happening inside our body. So we will be studying about the basic simple chemical reactions of these functional groups. Like when we talk about the functional groups like alcohol, phenols, aldehydes, ketones, carboxylic acids, all these functional groups, they have some basic reactions. And in this GE course, we will be studying about these simple basic reactions so that in future we can extrapolate them to make it relevant to the biological processes which are happening. Okay, so basically I would say this GE course, it tells us the importance in the real world. So just to give you an example, when we talk about the a very simple reaction, that is the peptide, the food which we eat, what happens to the food which we are eating? It is digested. So the proteins which we consume in, these proteins, they are digested by certain enzymes in our body. In the biological courses, you will study, okay, we are taking in the protein, we are consuming the carbohydrates, and these are then digested by our body. And the chemistry is the course which actually explains you how this is getting digested, what is happening to the food which we take in. Like simply, I will take another example, the synthesis of glutamine. Glutamine, we all know, is a derived amino acid. This amino acid can be converted from the glutamate, another amino acid which we take in, through some chemical reactions, simple chemical reactions. So to explain that how the glutamine is synthesized in our body, we need a chemistry background. So all these another reaction, as I would say, the carbohydrates which we consume, what happens to the carbohydrates, how these are getting digested, how the carbohydrates are giving us the energy, all these reasoning or all this explanation, it comes from a solid chemistry background. And in this paper, we are talking about very simple reactions, because many students, they are scared of the chemical reactions. So there is nothing to scare about, because this is a very elementary, very simple paper which will help you to understand the biology and to appreciate the courses which you are studying at the biological courses better. So here in this paper, we will be talking about the behavior of the organic compounds, and this behavior will be studied based on the reaction chemistry. So simple chemical reactions we will be studying for, sorry. Okay, so we will be studying very simple chemical reactions of the oxygen containing functional groups like alcohol, phenol, aldehydes, and ketones, and carboxylic acids. And not only we will be studying the behavior of these compounds, after this course, the students will be able to formulate the chemical reactions. Like if you are given a starting material and you know the reaction conditions that we are putting in this compound in this reaction conditions, even if they have not seen that reaction, even if they have not studied that reaction, they will be able to formulate the reaction mechanism. So we, in this course, we are aiming towards making this a very, to provide this very strong foundation of chemistry, so that they are able to formulate the reaction mechanism, they are able to predict the reaction mechanism. And then how we can extrapolate these functional group chemistry to the biology core papers which we are studying. This also gives us a better understanding of the stability of the molecules, because we know that proteins, they have different secondary structures, tertiary structures, quaternary structures. How these structures, they get stabilized in the biological system. How do we have various molecules? There are so many molecules which we consume in, there are so many molecules which are synthesized in our body. So how these molecules, they are stabilized, what makes them stable in the biological system? So after doing this course, you will be better able to explain and you will certainly have a better understanding of these molecules. You will be able to explain the stability of these molecules in the biological system. And not only the stability, you will have a very strong foundation about the molecular structure. Like in biology, we always study about this A is being converted to B. So in chemistry, our focus is not only of conversion of A to B, but we are also focusing on what is A, what is the structure of A, what is making A more stable, what promotes the conversion of A to B, why this conversion takes place, and what are the factors which are responsible for the conversion of A to B only and not from A to C. I hope I have made this is very clear. So in chemistry, we are talking about the molecular structure, the reaction dynamics, and what makes a particular reagent to give a particular product only. Why not any other product? Okay. And this is very simple chemistry. This is a very scoring paper, which will give you not only a very strong foundation of the various biological processes, but yes, you are able to this helps you to build a very strong foundation on the understanding of biological processes which are happening inside our body through a basic understanding of the chemical compounds, by understanding the behavior of the chemical compounds. Also, as we all know that chemistry is not only to study, it is not only the theoretical aspects. It is a branch of science which deals with which is highly dependent on the hands-on, the experiential learning. So here, it is not only that we will be talking about these molecules or these functional groups theoretically, but you will have a hands-on on various simple laboratory preparation where how the functional group A is converted to B, B is converted to C, C is converted to D, and also we will be learning some basic laboratory techniques like recrystallization, melting point determination. So overall, after doing the laboratory preparation, recrystallization, and melting point, ultimately you will be able to tell what are the functional groups present in the molecule and which are actually giving you this particular biological reaction. So all these things is very interesting, very exciting. And I hope that everybody who takes up this paper it will certainly be helpful to have you a better understanding of biology. So thank you. This is all what I need to say. And if somebody has any questions, you can ask. If any student has any question on this.
Any students, if you have any questions on this, then you can type it in the question answer box. Shefali, you may share the link of the Google form.
I'm sharing the link.
Lohita ma'am, you may share the Google form link in the chat box. Are you not a panelist? Is there any teacher in the attendees who is there for presentation? Please raise your hand. We'll make you a panelist. Next, we have Department of Commerce with us. Simranjit.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, because I'm still in college, so my net is not working properly. So I'll just explain it orally, whatever the syllabus is there. So for Commerce Department, we are offering financial management for beginners this time. So it's a 4 credits course, 3 lectures and 1 tutorial. So the learning objective of this course is that you will be acquainted with the basic concepts of financial management, which essentially means that as a manager in future, you will be able to take decisions such as, whether to invest in this machine or that machine, or whether your company wants to buy this plant or that plant, or let's say how you want to keep your dividend policy. Should it be constant like ITC does, or should you go with Bazinga dividends like Adani Green or Adani Ports were doing, before they went down. So this course is about that, and the syllabus is divided into 5 units. So the first unit will just acquaint you with the basics. So even if you are new to the subject, it will help you, learn further. So first we will be doing the basic ratio analysis. How do you analyze the financial statements and all that? And then in second unit, we will move on to capital budgeting decisions. So that is about how you budget and how you take your major decisions, similar to what I said earlier, that whether, which machine to buy, which plant to buy. So for that, there are different techniques, NPV, IRR, which are, internal rate of return, or net present value. So what is the time value of money? How do you adjust risk and return in all your decisions? After that, we will be covering cost of capital and capital structure. So in that, you have to analyze what is the cost of capital, in case we issue bonds, or in case we decide to go with, let's say, an IPO, and we are going with the shares, then what will be the cost of equity in case of that? What will be the weighted average cost, and what is the leverage? So we will have 2 types of leverage. One will be operating leverage, and then you have financial leverages. So we will be focusing on both of that and how you can use debt in order to earn more profits. And until what point you should use debt so that your returns don't start going down on the graph. And after this, we have fourth unit, which is about your dividend decisions and working capital. So for that, we will study what are different types of dividends, what are the different dividend policies that we can go for. I'm sorry, is there any question?
Acha,
Okay, I'll just continue.
हाँ.
I think it's Shifali, ma'am. Ma'am, can you mute yourself? Yeah, so I was talking about dividend decisions. So what are the different kinds of dividend policies that we can use, right? What are bonus share issues? What are stock splits? And then we will move on to working capital. And what are the factors that, determine that how much working capital is okay to have? That is it too much or is it too less? Because both the scenarios won't be good for our profits. And finally, the last unit is about valuation of securities. That how do you valuate equity? How do you valuate bonds? And what is the ideal portfolio that you should hold? So if let's say if you're a risk averse person, then maybe you can go for 70% bonds and 20% equity, or 10% physical gold also you can keep. So there can be n number of portfolios that you can hold. So basically, we will just study about that. And that is it about it. And for the practical portion, we will be doing technical analysis and fundamental analysis of the equity. And then we will go to the portfolios of NSC Pathshala and learn. And then we can look at the courses offered by NCFM also, in order to learn about how do you evaluate securities. And the software that we will be using for the practical portion will be MS Excel. So I think that is it from my side. Thank you, ma'am.
Simran, what is the title of the paper? Can you just repeat once?
It is financial management for beginners, and I'll share the link for the GE form in the comment box. Any questions if the students have, please feel free to ask.
Yeah, students, you may type the question in the question answer box. Next, Department of Economics. I think Dr. Kanika is with us.
Yes, ma'am. Hi. And Dr. Aruna ma'am is also here.
Yes.
I'm just sharing my screen in a minute. So is it visible?
Yes, your screen is visible.
Okay. All right. Just a second. So hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kanika Patania from Department of Economics. So we basically at Economics Department are offering two GE courses. First one is Principle of Macroeconomics 1, which will be majorly taken by Dr. Aruna Rao ma'am and Dr. Sonakshi Jain. And the second course that we are offering is the Basic Statistics for Economics that I'll take. So I'll first ask Aruna ma'am. I'll request Aruna ma'am to just give about the information about the principles for macroeconomics.
Okay, I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. So this course, as you can see on the screen, basically introduces the concepts of macroeconomics. In the first year, you had the principles of microeconomics, that is decision making at the individual level, and the second semester you have the principles of macroeconomics, which is the aggregate decision making, that is the overall decision making. Now, the macro concepts are extremely important because they are they help in the policy making purposes. So all of you are familiar with terms like economic growth, and you hear about inflation, you talk about unemployment, you talk about whether the economy is growing at a fast enough rate or it is not growing. You are hearing about money market. These days, you've been hearing, and I'm sure you've been reading about the crash of the Silicon Valley Bank and another bank in USA. And there have been a lot of discussion about whether that is going to be affecting the situation which is prevailing in India, because we are all a globalized economy. So macroeconomics deals with all these issues. It deals with issues of growth. It deals with issues of inflation. It deals with issues of unemployment and business cycles. It deals with the issues of international trade and globalization, and whether what is happening in one country is going to be affecting what is happening in other countries or not. Okay, so the entire course, if you just look at the syllabus which is formulated, it's divided into 4 units. The first is basically dealing with what is macroeconomics and the macroeconomic issues in an economy. The second is what is termed as national income accounting, because here we're talking about the entire structure of the economy. So what are how do we calculate the total income which is generated within an economy? The gross concept, the net concept, the national concept, the domestic concept, and so on and so forth. So that is what is dealt with under national income accounting. The third is where we talk about the actual and the potential GDP. So the moment you have this difference between actual and potential, you know that the question is basically about dealing with the full resource potential or not. Okay, aggregate expenditure, consumption function, investment function, equilibrium GDP, concepts of marginal propensity to save and marginal propensity to consume. So all these are very important concepts. When you earn a certain level of income in a month, then you either use it for consuming or you use it for saving. And you know from the microeconomics, from what you have learned in the first semester, that it is a marginal values which help you in optimizing your decision making or not. Then the fourth unit deals with your national income determination in an open economy. So this is what I meant when I spoke about the global economy, the world economy that we're talking about. And you're also dealing with the fourth sector, that is the government sector. So should the government be actually playing an active role or not? What is the extent of role that the government should play? Can it help in economic growth? Can it help in curbing inflation? Can it help in money markets and so on and so forth? So this is an extremely important issue, because we don't always have pardon me, we don't always have perfectly functioning markets. So does the government, is it the role of the government, is it going to be positive or is it going to be negative? Or should it even be playing any role at all? So that is an important aspect. And the fourth unit is the money in a modern economy. So this looks at all the various concepts of money. It does a little bit of history about money, how it has evolved over time, and the role that money plays, and so on and so forth. So this is an important aspect. We also introduced to a certain, I don't think you people have the concept of the ISLM model. So this is where we stop for you. So in this case, we're talking about the monetary policy of the government, that how does the government use rate of interest and these factors to change the total supply of money in an economy, and the effect that this can have on all the variables that we have spoken about earlier, basically economic growth, development, unemployment, and the purchasing power of money. So that is the entire syllabus that you have to do. And it's a 4-credit course, which means that it is 3 lectures plus 1 tutorial. Then it's just like your semester 1 paper. 90 marks is going to be your final exam marks, and your internal assessment is going to be for 30 marks. That is two tests, or 1 test and 1 assignment for 12 plus 12. 6 marks is going to be for your internal your attendance. Okay. And 40 marks is going to be for your continuous evaluation. So out of that, you have 5 marks for your attendance, and you have 35 marks for your internal evaluation. We can discuss, and we can come to a consensus on what exactly you feel, you and I both, not just you, but both of us feel is going to be the best way to evaluate it. There are a number of suggestions which have been given forward by the university, so we can decide which is going to be the most mutually beneficial one, and not just mutually beneficial, more beneficial to you people. Okay, so you have to decide what you're going to be interested in most. So that is what is going to be the distribution of marks, and the detailed chapter-wise reading list has also been forwarded by the Delhi School of Economics, and I can share that with you later once you have joined in and once you have filled in the Google Forms. I think Kanika is going to be sharing the Google link with you for writing out your preferences. And when you fill that up, then we can decide. Okay, I will forward or share all the links with all the material that I have with you. Over to Kanika now.
Thank you, ma'am, for providing information about this course. Now, moving to the second course that our economics department is offering is about the basic statistics for economics. So if we start with this subject, whenever you open your newspaper, there are too many facts, too many figures. They have analyzed this type of data. So there is the unemployment data, there is the world export data, import data. Everywhere you look around is full of data. So in this course, majorly we'll be looking at how we are going to analyze, how we are going to collect, how we are going to just interpret those data. So one important thing before going deeper into it, that first, one prerequisite for any person, any one who wants to join this course is that they should have in their class 12 mathematics as one of the paper. Further, I repeat.
Okay, just a moment. At this point, I would also like to make it clear that for your principles of macroeconomics, there is no pre-requirement of any such thing. Though if you do have some knowledge, I don't think we are going to be using too much of differential calculus either. So there is no prerequisite for knowledge of mathematics in the principles of macroeconomics course. Thank you. Sorry, Kanika.
No issues. So here, the if you want to enroll in this course, firstly, you should have in your class 12 mathematics as one of the course. This is one of the pre-required as determined by the university. Second, this subject turns out as one of the requirement. If you opt for basic econometric course, that will again be offered by the economics department in your 4th semester. So, and the basic econometric course actually let you handle the real life data. For example, the data given by World Bank, the data given by the trading associations, by UNESCO, and all that. So, in GE1, the courses that have been offered actually let you have information about what economic and development theories were all about. Here in this course, we'll be actually looking at how we can just actually empirically verify those theories. So maybe, and we can relate it better into our day-to-day life. Like the way I said that this world is full of data. Like we have any day in any stream, if you look for, you have to analyze certain type of data, maybe it in your history, maybe it in your Pearl science and everything. So by doing this course, students will be effectively able to analyze the data using the basic statistical concepts like the sample, the population, sampling techniques. Then you have some little bit of probabilities and the testing. So basically that will help you to develop critical and analytical skills. Further, if you are further interested in the research, this subject will turn out as a basis for doing any type of research in economics, or you talk about any other subject. So if you want to do a higher studies or higher education, for this subject will be very advanced, useful for you. And this turns out to be as one of the best paper for the job market because it actually lets you handle the data. Now, please note that this subject is different from the course offered by the statistics department, as here the major focus would be on the economic interpretations rather than just on the way we have in others. So the major syllabus that we have here is, first we'll start with the basic introduction and the overview. So it basically have what is statistics all about, what do we mean by populations, what are the sampling techniques, what are the inferential statistics and all that. Then we'll move to some basic concepts of probabilities, then leading to some probability distributions, and then the estimation with some level of hypothesis testing. So here again, the assessment will be 3 + 1 credit. So this paper can turn out to be a very scoring paper if you do it well. And this again is a 3 + 1 credit, that is 3 lectures plus 1 tutorial. So it is a total of 4 credit. Again, that will be based on the internal evaluation, the continuous evaluations, and your theory paper of 90 mark. So students may register using the following link, which I'll share in the chat box just after this. And you can just enroll for this course. Similarly, if you have any query for Principles of Macroeconomics course, you can just contact to Dr. Aruna Rao ma'am or Dr. Sonakshi Jain. The email IDs have been written here. And if there is any doubt for the basic statistics for economics course, you can contact me. I'll be sharing the email IDs as well with you. Thank you. This is from us. Now I'll be just sharing the links for the Google form and the email IDs.
Kanika, is there a common link for both the papers?
Yeah, that is a common GE form. So in that, student can actually fill in the option whether they have want to enroll in macroeconomics or the basic statistic course.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Thank you. So there are some queries in the question answer box. Students of program students are asking whether this common pool is for us. No, you cannot opt from this common pool. You can only opt GE languages courses program students, BA program and BCom program students. If you have opted for one language in GE1, you have to change that language. You have to go with the other one. The one you studied in first semester, you will again study in third semester. So you have to change the language now. and there is a query about MIL up to 10th standard. If you have not studied any MIL up to 8th standard, then common pool is open for you. If you have studied any language till 8th, then option C, like Hindi A, Hindi B, Hindi C. There are 3 types of papers. So C वाला option है आप लोगों के लिए, those who have not studied any MIL till 10th standard. You have studied any language till 8th, you can choose the option C there. Limited seats, you are asking about the seats. We try to accommodate as many students we get. Okay, but please fill up the form fast. Some departments may have the criteria of first come, first serve if there is a big flood of students. So do it quickly. So next we have Department of English with us.
Yes.
Dr. Nishant.
Hello, can you see it?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah, so the paper that the English department is offering to second semester students is called Individual and Society. That's also the name of the book. I put a cover of the book here so that the students get an idea of what the book looks like. It's just one book which has a collection of short stories, poems, and other prose writings, which have been handpicked by the English department uh, uh, to introduce to students ideas related to class, gender, race. But there are 5 sections in the paper itself. But because this paper is now being offered as 3+1, so we are offering 3 units from the book itself. I'll just go over the units. The other thing is that we've been offering this paper for a really, really long time, and the reason that it is very sought after as a paper is because we have multiple sections, 5 sections to be more specific, which deal with a lot of different, which are coming from not only different time spaces but also different writers from across the world. So you have, if you're looking at the section on caste, you have Ambedkar, Rafule.
Nishant, you're not audible now. Nishant, we can't hear you.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
I'm really sorry. I'm using the college Wi-Fi and it's fluctuating actually.
Hey, you may continue now.
Oh yeah. So we are offering 3 units. One is called Caste and Class. The other is called Violence and War, and the third one is called Living in a Globalized World. First one is called Caste and Class. Let me just. Why can't I move this? Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see.
But I'm not able to move this.
We can see your cursor moving.
Yeah, but the keys are not responding. In any case, I'll just, if it's not working, I'll just go over what we are going to do in the paper. So the first unit is called Caste and Class. It has sections, it has 4 to 5 sections, which I mean units. One from Ambedkar. Whenever you're having a conversation on caste, you can't possibly imagine it without including Jyotirao Phule and Dr. Bhimsen Ambedkar. So it has sections from Om Prakash Valmiki, Ambedkar, Jyotirao Phule, The idea is, and also Isma Chuptai. So the idea is you have short stories, you have prose writings, you have poems, and the idea is to generate a discussion, a nuanced discussion around the ideas of caste and class and how these have affected our society, Indian societies more specifically over the last few decades. Then you have the other section called violence and war, and the kind of, I mean, looking at the world as it is right now, what is happening in Europe, we understand how this specific section is can also be very important for students to understand and also sort of empathize with what happens to people who suffer from the ravages of war. So violence and war also, if I can, no, yeah, it's still not working. It has a section on by Amitav Ghosh, Ghost of Indira Gandhi. It also has other sections which deal with, again, similar concept. It has poetry. It has Dulce et Decorum Est by Wilfred Owen, which is a poem. It has a prose section by Siegfried Sassoon. So these are sections which are dealing, which are literature which is read around the globe, which deals with these sections, right? Then the last section is called Living in a Globalized World, where we are focusing on the Indian diaspora and the experience of the Indian diaspora. So you have sections by Chitra Banerjee Dev Karuni, you have Toys by Rola Bath, which is an essay by Rola Bath, you have Imtiaz Dharkar's Lahore Karai. The idea is to make the students empathize on some level with what it is like, particularly in the third section, with what it is like for you to move out of the country and to feel that nostalgia which still connects you with your not only your country but also the community with which you have left behind. So these are the 3 units that we are offering on particularly for this paper. It's a 3+1 course, 3 classes for the 3 sections that I've just mentioned. 1 tutorial will be there for suggested readings, which the idea of the suggested reading is to help the students go beyond the scope of just the basic primary literary readings that we are trying to cover in this section, in this paper. Right. So in the tutorial, we will be covering suggested readings. And of course, the idea is also to, through the tutorials, we will be looking at internal assessment as well. There will be assignments, there will be class tests, there'll be classroom interaction for continuous assessment, and also, of course, attendance. There'll be some weightage given to attendance as well. The book, it's called the same as the paper. It's called The Individual and Society, and the book is available, easily available in online and offline markets. So my thing is still not working, but yeah, that's about it. I'll just put the link to the GE enrollment form in the chat and also my contact details. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nishant. So there is query regarding GE languages. I think it is better the student has written, if a student has not studied any language till 8th from the present pool of choices, for example, if a student choose Hindi in SEM 1 and for SEM 2, the students have not studied any other language till 8th. So can the student opt from the pool of choices, or do the student have to study what they studied? No, you cannot repeat the same paper which you studied in SEM 1. That will be repeated in semester 3. For semester 2, I think you can choose from the pool, common pool, but it is better that you confirm it from Dr. Krishna Kumar as well. You may write to him, he will guide you better. All the links for the Google Forms are there in the chat box, economics and English as well. Yes, next we have Department of Electronics with us.
Hello, good evening. Can
Good
you hear
evening.
me?
Yes, Dr. Lilita.
Hi, Deepti. I mean, if you want to, if anybody wants to see me, I can turn on my video for a while, but yeah, I'll get back to you again here. Please allow me to share the screen. Yes. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, I'll just. Give me a second because my Oh dear, what happened? My screen is all over the place. I don't know why. I can, yeah. All right, I can't do a. Okay, is it full screen for everybody?
Not full screen, ma'am.
Is my screen visible?
Screen is visible, yes.
All right, okay, because I'm not able to do a full screen, but I'll do it with whatever is available here.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Welcome to all. The generic elective that the Department of Electronics is offering in this semester is data visualization techniques. And I know a couple of teachers, prior to this one have spoken about the importance of data and, the importance of big data, to be more precise. And it is no different that we also emphasize on learning about data and data as a science. Interestingly enough, data has become science now owing to the magnitude of data that is available currently. Now, the complete data science process, includes all the things that are listed here in this picture. Data from data framing to data acquisition to data preparation. I mean, I'm not getting into the nitty-gritty of data per se, because we all at this point of time understand, the importance of data and big data, more so because we all use internet and we have been, flooded with a lot of data. We work with a lot of apps, we work with a lot of applications, both on our mobile or almost on all electronic devices. So the concept of data and the concept of big data is very much familiar to each one of us. Now, why are we studying data as a science here is because there's a wealth of information that one can get from it, and one can do what is called a systematic study of data and unearth, a lot of patterns which could be useful for each one of us and in every discipline for that matter. In fact, data science as it is now encompasses almost all disciplines without exception. So it makes, it more important for the students to be familiar with how to work with data and how to use data and derive, whatever information is relevant in their particular discipline using by learning data science. So data science has become a very, very important subject for everybody to learn. But you can do it. In fact, you can learn it at any point of time, but we are offering it as a generic elective. The Department of Electronics is offering it as a generic elective, and this particular visual shows us, the whole process that involves in the data science, like visualization, model building, model planning. You may have one of the activities relevant to one discipline, the other activity relevant to other discipline, but nevertheless, it's not complete in any way, but at least it emphasizes on some of the activities which are done, with data. Now, as a prelude, Department of Electronics has offered data analytics in the semester 1. In fact, we prior to the NEP, we had data science as a complete paper, but then in the NEP, we have the data science paper divided into two. One is data analytics and the other is data visualization. It is not to say that, the one that we are offering this semester, data visualization, requires a prior knowledge of data analytics, but certainly a knowledge of data analytics would help, in visualizing the data. So I have taken a class today, in fact, and many of the students were already those who have learned data analytics in the last semester. So it will be addition to whatever they have learned. in the form of data visualization. So coming to what actually is what is it that we would be teaching, or why is data, this particular slide shows why is data visualization important. As I mentioned before, with a pool of data that we have, we can extract meaningful information. So data visualization helps. And earlier on, the amount of data that we all were or we all had in hand was very little. So we could manage to either draw a straight line through it, or you could make a curve from it, or you could see whether it was going up or down, along a particular scale and all that. But with a large amount of information, we need some added tools to be able to visualize and to see the patterns in these data. And that is exactly what we are going to study in this paper. So data visualization is the act of taking information and placing it into a context, such as a map or a graph. While teaching data science, the very first time, we do have some software tools like Excel and spreadsheets, which do to a certain extent allow us to plot and see the patterns. But believe me, I mean, the data is not just as small. So if it is big data, then you need other tools actually to visualize how the data looks like, in fact. So data visualization make big and small data easier for the human brain to understand, and visualization also makes it easier to detect patterns. In fact, when we get the raw data, initially, it is so unstructured that we can't make head or tail out of it. So some of the tools that we would learn in data visualization would allow us to see those patterns, and it would give us a clear understanding of the patterns as it mentions here. One could take a decision also of, or one could infer something from that data that we see. We can find solutions to problems, and we can find relationship among data, and we can do a comparative analysis also. There's a lot of things that we can do if we can find patterns in the data. Next, essentially data visualization can be classified into 4 types. It can be declarative, it can be data driven, it can be exploratory, and it can be conceptual. So we are going to deal with all these different types of data visualization in this particular elective paper. Okay, now it is almost known to everybody. It's an open, or rather the career options available in data science is known to almost all of us. But still, to put things into perspective, the various things that one can do with sound knowledge of data sciences, they can become data visualization specialists. One can become a big data architect, one can become a systems architect, and one can, artificial intelligence is also, artificial intelligence is very closely related to data science, even though we develop algorithms and it takes a different path in terms of applications, but nevertheless, some of the algorithms can be derived, and one can become a artificial intelligence developer as well. One can, of course, become a data scientist, a data engineer, or operations manager. The plethora of career options available in data science are many. Then what we would be teaching in data visualization is, again, assuming that they already have learned a little bit of, some of the topics listed here in their earlier paper. We would be doing introduction to data visualization in the first unit. We would do data visualization techniques in the second. We would be creating dashboards with one package or, of data visualization, which is available, called Plotly. And we would also be introduced to, when I say we, I mean the students would be introduced to data visualization using Tableau, which is becoming very popular nowadays. Okay, so it would be an added. Majorly, most of the packages which are used here for data visualization are Python based. Python is a programming language, it's a high-level programming language, but we would be dealing a little bit with Tableau also. Okay, so, and then who all can learn data science? I mean, we have I don't know, we could have written all branches here, but since I think we have listed all branches here, all the BSc students can learn data science and data visualization techniques. The BA students can learn, the BCom students, almost every student can learn data visualization techniques. It's more or less like a skill that one can, have by learning these courses. So if anybody has any questions, you may contact our teacher in charge, Dr. Nutan Joshi, or you may send a message to the mail ID that is given here. And if anybody has any questions to ask, you're free to ask. Thank you very much, Deepti.
Thank you, ma'am.
That will be all.
Yeah, you may please share the link of the Google form in the chat.
I will put it in the chat.
Yeah. Next, we have Department of Hindi with us. I think Dr. Avinash has joined us from Hindi department.
जी नमस्कार मैम. मैम स्क्रीन देख पा रहे हैं क्या आप लोग? क्या बस मैं ही देख पा रहा हूँ?
हाँ जी सर, दिख रही है
जी, शुक्रिया जी. तो जी पेपर के रूप में हिंदी डिपार्टमेंट की तरफ से मैं डॉक्टर अविनाश आप लोगों से बात करूंगा बच्चों. सबसे पहले कोर्स ऑब्जेक्टिव देख लेते हैं हम इसके. पेपर का नाम ऊपर आप लोग देख पा रहे होंगे सभी, भाषा और समाज. और हम सब जानते हैं कि मनुष्य एक सामाजिक प्राणी है और समाज से इतर उसकी कल्पना नहीं की जा सकती है. और इन सब के साथ आज तक जो हम एक छात्र के रूप में मैं भी देखता रहा हूं कि भाषा की संरचना या भाषा शैली, इन सब आधार पे भाषा को आज तक हम लोग इससे पहले पढ़ते रहे हैं. लेकिन एनईपी आने के बाद और खास करके एनईपी में जिस स्किल बेस्ड एजुकेशन की बात हम लोग करते भी हैं, उसके आने के बाद बच्चों अब मुझे लगता है कि हिंदी को केवल एक भाषा के रूप में देखना या केवल साहित्य से जोड़ के देखना या साहित्य तक सीमित मान के देखना ठीक नहीं है. तो कहीं ना कहीं उस रूप में भी इस पेपर को हम लोग पढ़ सकते हैं. इसमें जो ऑब्जेक्टिव है, पहले मैं थोड़ा सा उस पर बात कर लेता हूँ कि भाषा और समाज का अंतः संबंध, भाषा व्यवस्था, भाषा का समाज शास्त्र क्या है. ये 2-4 मोटे मोटे इसके ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं. लेकिन इसके इतर अगर मैं आम बोलचाल की भाषा में आप लोगों से बात करूं तो हम देखते हैं कि साहित्य हो, सिनेमा हो, विज्ञापन हो, पत्रकारिता हो, राजनीति हो, समाज के सभी क्षेत्रों में लगभग मुझे लगता है कि आप सबने लगभग प्रेमचंद का नाम सुना होगा. मैं जानबूझकर ऐसा नाम ले रहा हूं कि सबने सुना होगा. प्रेमचंद को सभी जानते हो. जो मेरे छात्र अभी 12वीं करके आए होंगे वो भी नाम तो सुना होगा कम से कम कि प्रेमचंद कोई थे. अब कौन थे ये शायद किसी को नहीं पता हो, लेकिन साहित्यकार थे. अगर हम में से किसी ने प्रेमचंद को पढ़ा है तो हम जानते हैं कि उनकी भाषा ऐसी नहीं है कि कोई दूसरे ग्रह की भाषा है. जिस हिंदी का प्रयोग कर रहे हैं वो समाज के करीब है बच्चों. तो जो भाषा और समाज की बात कर रहे हैं, एक फिल्म है शोले. अब मैं एग्जाम्पल देता हूं. हम बार बार कहते हैं कि बहुत अद्भुत लिखा गया, अद्वितीय लिखा गया. सही बात है सर, लिखा गया भी होगा. लेकिन मैं एक बात पूछता हूं, इनफैक्ट जो लिखने वाले हैं वो भी पूछ रहे थे कभी कि भैया हमने ऐसा क्या लिख दिया. हमने डायलॉग लिखा है, कितने आदमी थे. अब इसमें ऐसा क्या है भैया, कितने आदमी थे. अब वो हिट हो गई. जो जन के करीब है, जो समाज के करीब है, जो आसानी से लोगों तक पहुंच पा रही है. आप लोग गीत सुनते होंगे. मैं छात्रों को खास करके कह रहा हूं, छात्रों को ही कह रहा हूं. नए गीत आते हैं, हिट होते हैं, करोड़ों की कमाई होती है उसकी. केसरिया तेरा रंग है या इश्क है पिया, ऐसा कुछ गाना है, मैंने भी सुना था इस बीच में. अब भाषा देखिए, मैं उसका एक लाइन अभी लिख रहा था अभी आप लोगों के बच्चों के लिए कि काजल की स्याही से लिखी है जाने तूने कितने की लव स्टोरियां. अब लव स्टोरियां तो इसे हिंदी में कहें, अब किस भाषा में कहें. तो भाषा एक जैसी रहेगी या शुद्ध हिंदी में रहेगी या शुद्ध या अशुद्ध हिंदी के बीच में रहेगी, वो बदलती रहेगी. भाषा बहता नीर की तरह है छात्रों. और स्किल बेस्ड की बात जो मैं कर रहा था अभी, तो भाषा केवल अब साहित्य जैसे कि मैंने कहा तक नहीं है. जब समाज से जोड़ेंगे उसको, प्रसून्न जोशी सेंसर बोर्ड के चेयरपर्सन हैं, अभी हैं कि नहीं, अभी हाल फिलहाल तक थे, कॉमर्स की दुनिया के बड़े नाम रहे हैं और हिंदी से अपना रोजी रोटी चलाते हैं, इसी हिंदी भाषा से। और उनका इंटरव्यू में देख रहा था, क्योंकि बताना जरूरी है छात्रों के लिए, तो कह रहे हैं कि मैं ऐसा इसीलिए हूं कि मैं समाज के अंदर भाषा को देखता हूं। मैं रेल से आ रहा था तो 2 कूली बात कर रहे थे, एक कूली ने दूसरे कूली को कहा कि ठंडा ले आ, दूसरे ने पहले को कहा कौन सा ले आऊं, तो फिर दूसरे को पहले ने कहा कि ठंडा नहीं जानता है, ठंडा मतलब कोका कोला। तो ये समाज में बात चल रही है बच्चों, आप समाज से जुड़ेंगे नहीं, समाज के अंतर्गत भाषा का अध्ययन करेंगे नहीं। और वो एक ऐड था 3 शब्दों का, ठंडा मतलब कोका कोला, उसने पूरा प्रसून जोशी का जीवन बदल दिया। ये खाली एक जो इसका आर्थिक पक्ष है, मैं उसकी बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, वो व्यक्ति कॉमर्स की दुनिया से हिंदी की दुनिया में आ गया और पूरी जीवन आज सेंसर बोर्ड के चेयरपर्सन भी है, वो भी हिंदी के। मुझे लगता है उसमें हिंदी का योगदान कॉमर्स के योगदान ज्यादा है। मैं किसी कॉमर्स को कमतर नहीं कह रहा हूं, लेकिन जो एक है, ऐसे उदाहरण भी है हमारे सामने। चेतन भगत लिटरेचर लिख रहे हैं, भाषा लिख रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं खाली इंग्लिश से बिकते हैं। कभी जाइए नई दिल्ली, जो किताबों की दुकान वहां लगी रहती है, हिंदी में इंग्लिश ज्यादा कॉपी रखी रहती है वहां पर। तो ये सब लिख रहे हैं, अमीश लिख रहे हैं, अमीश को पेंगुइन के हिंदी एडिशन ने करोड़ रुपया दिया कि लिखो। क्यों लिख रहे हैं? कि जो समाज में था, जो समाज का है, उसको ही लेकर के लोग आ रहे हैं। तो भाषा और समाज को इन कुछ चैप्टर्स पे भी हम इसमें बात कर लेते हैं। एक में इकाई 1 है भाषा, समाज और संस्कृति, भाषा और समाज का अंतः संबंध, भाषा व्यवस्था और भाषा व्यवहार, भाषा समाज विज्ञान और भाषा का समाज शास्त्र, जिसकी बात अभी हम कर रहे थे। भाषाई विविधता, भाषा और समुदाय, भाषा और परिवेश, कि किस जगह पे कैसे और कब किस भाषा का प्रयोग करना है। द्विभाषिकता, बहुभाषिकता। इसके अलावा इकाई 3 में भाषा का सामाजिक व्यवहार, भाषा और वर्ग, व्यक्ति समाज, भाषा और अस्मिता, जेंडर का भी इसमें एक चैप्टर है। इसके अलावा भाषा और संस्कृति। संस्कृति से बड़ा अच्छा मुझे याद आता है कि मैं मिथिला का रहने वाला हूँ, बिहार का सीतामढ़ी जो मिथिला का एरिया है, शायद आप लोग में से कुछ लोग जानते भी होंगे। अब जिस भाषा का प्रयोग हमारे यहाँ शादियों में या कुछ खास रिश्तों में आपस में बातचीत में की जाती है, संस्कृति बदलने के कारण, कल्चरल चेंज के कारण, वो अगर मुझे लगता है कि दिल्ली में अगर की जाए या उस क्षेत्र के बाहर बिहार में भी कहीं की जाए, तो शायद बड़ी दुर्घटनाएं घट सकती है किस तरह की भाषा के प्रयोग पे। तो इन चीजों का अध्ययन भी इस अध्याय के अंदर हम करेंगे, जो काफी इंटरेस्टिंग होगा बच्चों, आपके लिए भी और शायद हमारे लिए भी। अंतिम इकाई है भाषा सर्वेक्षण, उसके स्वरूप, उसका नमूना, उसका विश्लेषण और नवीन प्रयोग, जिसकी बात अभी मैं कर भी रहा था कि नवीन प्रयोग कैसा है, हिंदी है, इंग्लिश है, इंग्लिश है, क्या है, इसको भी हम जानेंगे। तो कहने का मतलब है कि आप सब, हम सब मिल करके भाषा के इस प्रयोग को, इसको केवल साहित्य तक नहीं रखकर समाज से जोड़कर किन किन जगहों पर इसका बेहतर प्रयोग किया जा सकता है। और मैं भाषा की बात कर रहा हूं तो शायद शुरू से अंत तक मैं हिंदी की बात ही कर रहा हूं। तो हम सब ये जानते हैं कि प्रथम, द्वितीय और तृतीय भाषा के रूप में हिंदी भारत में सर्वाधिक बोली जाती है। महात्मा गांधी हिंदी के पक्षधर थे और इस देश में सामाजिक और राजनीतिक व्यवस्थाएं बदलती रहेंगी और बदल रही हैं, बदलती रहती भी हैं। उस बीच में हिंदी को आप देख पा रहे होंगे कि हिंदी हर किसी के व्यक्तिगत विकास के लिए भी आवश्यक है। जो इंग्लिश बोलना, भाषा अधिक से अधिक आनी चाहिए। मैं किसी अन्य भाषा का विरोधी नहीं हूं कि भाषा मत सीखो, आप अधिक से अधिक भाषा सीखिए, लेकिन जो भाषा आपके मूल में है, जो सर्वाधिक लोगों की भाषा है, जो भारतीय भाषा है, या जो भारत के बाजार की भाषा है और बनती जा चुकी है, नहीं है तो उसको भी समाजशास्त्रीय रूप से हम जानेंगे, अध्ययन करेंगे। पाठ्य सामग्री बच्चों को आसानी से मिल जाएगी, वस्तुनिष्ठता इसमें बहुत ज्यादा है पेपर में, इसलिए आप लोगों को अच्छे अंक भी मिलेंगे। हालांकि ये कहने की बात नहीं है, तो ये आप लोग गूगल फॉर्म का मैंने दे दिया है ना, इस पे लिंक जो है, तो जो छात्र इसमें जुड़ना चाहते हैं जरूर जुड़े, अपने मित्रों को भी बताएं जो किसी कारण से आज नहीं जुड़ पाए। शुक्रिया आप लोगों का। और मैं अपना फोन नंबर, ईमेल आईडी मैंने स्लाइड के फर्स्ट में दिया था, फिर से मैं चैट बॉक्स में ये जो गूगल फॉर्म का लिंक है और अपना फोन नंबर विद ईमेल आईडी डाल दे रहा हूँ, तो आप लोग संपर्क कर ले किसी को अगर ऐड करना है। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद अनिपानाश जी। Next we have Department of History, Dr. Nuti with us.
Good evening, everyone. Arpita, can you please share the PPT?
Yeah, just a minute. She's sharing it. I think you can see it.
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it. Yes. So history department is offering the GE paper Delhi through the ages from colonial to contemporary times. This is a continuation of the paper offered in the first semester GE, and it was, I mean, it's the first semester we learned about Delhi from the ancient times to the medieval times. But in the second semester, we'll be learning about Delhi and its social and cultural evolution during the modern times. So this course, the objectives of the paper are many. First of all, this evokes an interest in your own city, in the capital city of India, and how it has impacted by the developments during the colonial era. In today also, we can see monumental structures scattered around Delhi, especially in central Delhi in the Lutyens zone. And those were built by the British, the colonial masters, in the 19th century. And so, how it has physical and social transformation, how it has happened over time from colonial to contemporary times. And not only do we focus upon political developments on the urban spaces, but also on social and cultural systems which have also evolved and changed over time. So we explore the historical antecedents of some of the contemporary dilemmas of Delhi. This course is divided into 4 units. The first unit is Delhi in the 19th century, Mughal Court, Company Raj, 1857, and its aftermath. So Delhi, how it functioned under the Mughal rule as well as under the company rule. Both coexisted simultaneously in the first half of the 19th century, and how the relationship was between them, and how it also affected the cultural and social milieu of Delhi. In this unit, we discuss in great length about 1857 revolt, and also what happened and after the revolt in Delhi. We are not dealing about India or all over India what happened, but how it impacted Delhi. Then the second unit is building New Delhi, imperial ideology and of urban morphology. In this, the building and construction of the Lutyens Delhi was taken up by the colonial rulers, and how it showcased their imperial ideology and how they wanted to distance themselves away from the court of the Mughal rulers, which had existed earlier in Red Fort in the Chandni Chowk, Old Delhi area. So they went about building a new city altogether in Lutyens zone, which is known as today. Unit 3 is Delhi in 1947 partition and its aftermath. This topic deals basically about India's independence in 1947 and how it was also marred by the partition, the bloodshed, the violence, and also huge dislocation of the population which occurred in India on the whole. But as far as Delhi was concerned, we have to also learn how Delhi's population was affected and how lakhs of people, almost 3 to 4 lakhs of people had to migrate from Delhi to Pakistan, and how in their place other people came and replaced these people. So the demography of Delhi changed overnight, and how it affected again their cultural and social values. Unit 4 is making of contemporary Delhi. This unit talks about after independence, how Delhi evolved and how different equations, different areas, different spaces were created, which were affected by the politics of that period as well as about on the culture of that period, and how a different category, a separate category of socialites emerged in Delhi, how new spaces were conquered and redeveloped during this period in the 1950s and 1960s. And this is what we will learn in this paper. So this is basically about appreciating your city, looking at Delhi from new eyes, and also about how it has evolved over time and how the colonial rulers, they built the city of Delhi, and how it does affect and it does create problems and dilemmas of urban spaces in Delhi even today. So this is the syllabus, and there are some photographs and the Rashtrapati Bhavan and the monumental structures. The learning objectives of this paper are analyzing the political developments and their legacy for the shaping of the city, and also discerning the importance of local social, ecological, and cultural processes that shape and reshape the city, and also explaining the historical roots of the problems of sustainable urbanization with regard to Delhi. This paper is very interesting because it deals with just 19th century and a little bit of 20th century, half of 20th century. And you'll find it interesting if you are interested in learning about your city and love your city. My contact details are given here in the last slide. And also Arpita has shared the Google link for history. You can fill that up. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Nuti. Next, we have Department of Mathematics.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just presenting. Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So this is Naman Sharma from Department of Mathematics, and this is generic elective subject course, which is Introduction to Linear Algebra. So before coming to the outline, I would like to highlight the learning outcomes, what we are going to study, and what would be our strategy. The major focus areas would be to introduce the concept of vectors in Rn, multidimensional vector spaces, understanding the nature of solution of system of linear equations, to look at the M cross N matrices as linear functions, how matrices can work as linear function in multidimensional vector spaces, and I would say to introduce the concept of linearly independent, linearly dependent, rank, linear transformations with the help of transformation as well as with the help of matrices. So coming to the outline, this course has been divided into three major units, three major topics under which we are going to study various small subtopics like first unit talks about vectors and matrices. In this, we'll introduce to you what are the strategies to deal with vector and matrices, and different operations and the relation between matrices and the linear transformations, the functions. So first of all, we'll start with fundamental operations for multidimensional vector spaces, for multidimensional spaces, we would say. Then we'll come to linear combinations of vectors, dot products, cross products, the various inequalities like Cauchy-Schwarz inequality and triangle inequality, and the properties like orthogonal and parallel vectors. And then we'll come to the Gaussian elimination, Gaussian Jordan, and kind of row reductions. Then the major topic I would say in this first unit would be eigenvalues and eigenvectors. It is of utmost importance. And second unit deals with vector spaces, where we'll start with definition and the properties and further subclassification, like the subspaces span, dependence, independence kind of properties, and basis and dimensions. These are important aspect of vector spaces. And then comes unit 3, which is final unit of our syllabus, our course, where we'll deal with the properties of how do we define linear transformations similar to functions only, and the properties and the usefulness, how do we apply these, and the relations with the matrix, the matrices, and their properties, further properties like kernel, range, the dimension theorem, which is also known as rank nullity theorem, and further properties. So, so the concept of linear algebra started, I would say, being an Indian, I would say it started with Aryabhatta after Barahmir in 5th century, Brahmagupta in 6th century, Bhaskaracharya 7th century, Bhaskaracharya the second in 11th century, and so on and so forth. So the advances in linear algebra has been done throughout the centuries. So let's come to the applications of linear algebra. So this is just a fundamental course, and it has various applications. So I have listed a few of core fields where this can directly be applied. These fundamentals directly can be applied. And let's look at these focus main areas. So starting with chemistry, where we balance the equations and solving basic equations, and further, these are the just focus, just core fields. Other than, there are many vast expansions on these fields also, like where we can apply linear algebra and all. So starting with chemistry, then coding theory, we use linear algebra in machine learning, in geometry, heat distribution, thermodynamics, image compression, networking, because it's just a fundamental course. So, for example, in sociology, eigenfaces, quantum mechanics, genetic theory. Genetic theory basically genome sequences, the things are going on these days, the researches, Markov chain, probability and prediction, and the expansion can be the extension of this fundamental course can be applied in tensors product or tensors algebra. Then electrical circuits, ranking in search engines. Usually, this is one of the famous field where this fundamental linear algebra can be applied, because the creation of Google, the most complicated ranking algorithm, uses the fundamentals of linear algebra. And then comes the cryptography, which is a course in our mathematics department. Then game theory, and the related subject, linear programming and problems, where we frequently use linear algebra and operations and transformations to deal with payoff matrices and relational dominance. And then traffic flow from the real world, least squares approximation, regression analysis, line of best fit. This is one of the easiest example I have inserted here, the line of best fit. Though everyone knows, like we are given some points, some discrete points, then we need to find the exact line, the best fit line which passes through those points, so that the error from the point and the line is minimum. And then genetic theory, I told you the genome sequences, the researches are going on these days on genome sequencing. And then Lontif economic model. So we all know that Lontif was Nobel Prize winner in 1979, I guess 73. And it was a path-breaking tool for analyzing intersectoral dependencies in economy. Lentif model basically deals with a model that is meant for economy of a whole country or a region, as far as I have studied. So these are basic application fields. So linear algebra on advanced stages can be applied to many other fields also. So this is my contact details, and I would like to tell that 85 students have already registered in our course, and I've got the list. So here's my mail ID. The students in contact anytime, and the WhatsApp, and there's a link to the Google form. I'll share this link in the chat box. Okay, and if anyone has doubt, they can text in chat box regarding linear algebra uses, applications, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
And students, just for your information, 2 sections of GE are there in mathematics department. Okay, we have already got 85, but still we have some vacancies, so you may fill the form. I think GE history link is not working. It needs some permission. We are contacting the teacher and they will get it removed. Link for GE Pol Science, it is yet to be done. Next, we have Department of Physics with us. Dr. Surendra Kumar. He is with us from Department of Physics.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Dr.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Oh. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir. Your screen is.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. The Department of Physics offering GE course as a electricity and magnetism. We all know that no meaning of life without electricity. Everywhere we use electricity in home appliances, offices, and industries. The combined effect of electricity and magnetism present numerous applications such as a motor, electric bulb, telephone, and so on. This GE course have 4 credits that are divided into 2 parts. One is theory and another one is practical. The theory part have 3 credits and various topics covered in this course. The topics are vector analysis, Coulomb's law, electric field, Gauss law, magnetic field, Ampere's law, Faraday law, and magnetic materials. And these topics are discussed in this course in detail. And from the basic law like Coulomb's law, Ampere's law, and Faraday law, combining by the Maxwell and create a history in this science and introduce the Maxwell equation. The Maxwell equation is the well-known equation and so many applications in daily life, like a transmission of a line or any other. And also cover the network theorem in this course. Network theorem like a Thevenin theorem, Norton theorem, and these theorems are useful to reduce the electronic circuit in a small box. and the practical part has one credit and all the experiment related to the theory part. In this animated picture, a little Jerry defending yourself from a Tom with the help of electricity and magnetism concept. So in this image, a magnetic coil is placed at the top of the cat. When the Jerry connects the coil plug with electricity, the metal coil produces the magnetic field and attract the hammer and stick with the coil. After removing the plug, the no magnetic field has generated, so hammer hold down on the head on the top. So many applications in daily life with the connect the electricity and magnetism concept. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Surendra. You may share the Google form link.
Yes, I'm saying.
Yes. Next, we have Department of Political Science. You may stop sharing, please. Okay, done. Political Science.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, Dr. Ashish.
I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Good evening, respected teachers and my dear students. Very warm welcome to this GE orientation. I, on behalf of Department of Political Science, am here to represent my department and to introduce to you all this generic elective that Department of Political Science is offering in this semester, that is Introduction to Indian Constitution. The paper will be taken by Dr. Arup Singh sir, and this paper, Introduction to the Indian Constitution, is different from the earlier paper that we have introduced in semester 1, that is Ideas and Institution in Indian Political Thought. In semester 1, our focus was on introducing the students to the values, norms that were there in ancient as well as the modern Indian political thought. And in this semester, the focus of the paper Introduction to the Indian Constitution is on the law, on the historical perspective, on the process of how these value systems are there in the working of Indian Constitution. So the objective of this paper is to make you aware about the historical context of constitutional democracy in India. The focus being that in the post-independent scenario, we adopted parliamentary democratic model. And in that context, the idea of this paper is to make a student aware about the diverse socio-political economic context in which we have come up with a defined framework that is a unique model of democracy in our country based on our own need and interest. Indian Constitution coming up with a unique, distinctive model have focused on a transformatory vision where the focus was not only to provide right to the people, but also the idea was that how the state could play transformatory role in the life of the people. So the constitution focused on the two objectives of Indian state. One was nation building and another was the transformation in terms of socio-economic transformation. In that context, we also take into consideration the genesis and the philosophy of Indian Constitution in play, with the consequences to make students know about the origin and the content of Indian Constitution. And also there is a wider focus on not only the fundamental rights, but also fundamental duties and the obligation of the state. That why one should obey the state. It is also to discuss the very idea that why fundamental rights is placed in part 3, why directive principle of state policy is in part 4, and later on with an amendment, we included fundamental duties within Article 51A. Also, one of the key outcome of this paper is to make us aware about the constitutional functioning of governance in India. And with these objectives and outcomes in mind, the syllabus of the paper is structured into 6 parts. The part 1 focuses on the historical context of making of Indian Constitution. Part 2 brings the basic features of Indian Constitution and why we have adopted a particular feature for that matter. Part 3 is focusing on fundamental rights. Part 4, obligation of the state and duties of the citizen. Apart from the historicity of Indian Constitution making, basic features, rights, duties, and obligation of the state, the paper also focuses on the different institution, the frameworks in the making of these procedures, and also the unit 6 focuses on the different functionalities between center and state and the decentralized model of governance. This is all about the paper. I hope to engage more and more students in this paper in semester 2, and we will be sharing the link for generic elective paper Introduction to Indian Constitution in the chat box. You can contact Dr. Arup Singh sir or any of us in Department of Political Science to know more about the paper. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ashish. Next, we have Department of Sanskrit. Dr. Ravi is with us from Department of Sanskrit.
हेलो
हाँ जी रवि
जी नमस्ते। मैम स्क्रीन दिखाई दे रही है क्या?
हाँ जी दिखाई दे रही है।
ओम यज्जाग्रतो दूरमुदैति दैवं तदुसुप्तस्य तथैवैति दूरंगमं ज्योतिषां ज्योतिरेकं तन्मे मनः शिवसंकल्पमस्तु। सर्वेभ्यो नमो नमः। अहं रवि कुमारः। सम्प्रति अहं संस्कृत विभागे अध्यापनं कुर्वन् अस्मि। आज जीई ओरिएंटेशन जनरल इलेक्टिव जो पेपर है उसका ओरिएंटेशन है सेमेस्टर 2 के लिए संस्कृत विभाग की तरफ से एक पेपर आप सभी बच्चों के लिए जीई में ऑफर किया गया है जिसका टाइटल है भारतीय सौंदर्य शास्त्र। तो भारतीय सौंदर्य शास्त्र, तो सबसे पहले हम देखते हैं कि सौंदर्य शब्द जो है, कि सौंदर्य शब्द का शाब्दिक अर्थ है कि सौंदर्य होने का भाव। सौंदर्य होने का भाव अर्थात चाहे प्राकृतिक दृष्टि से सौंदर्य होने का भाव, शास्त्रीय दृष्टि से सौंदर्य होने का भाव, धार्मिक दृष्टि से या सामाजिक दृष्टिकोण से। मानव का पहला गुण है विवेक द्वारा सौंदर्य को समझना। जब हम किसी वस्तु को देखते हैं तो हमारी बुद्धि द्वारा उस वस्तु के रूप, उसके विश्लेषण से हमारे मन पर जो प्रभाव पड़ता है, उनमें एक प्रभाव सुंदरता का भी होता है, जिसके आधार पर हम किसी भी वस्तु को सुंदर कहते हैं। सौंदर्य के विभिन्न प्रकार हैं, जैसे प्राकृतिक सौंदर्य, नेचुरल ब्यूटी जिसे आप कहते हैं, और एक आर्टिफिशियल ब्यूटी, कृत्रिम सौंदर्य। तो प्राकृतिक सौंदर्य जो है वो दो प्रकार का होता है, सुंदर और उदात्त। इसके साथ ही सौंदर्य का एक और शब्द हमें मिलता है कला, सौंदर्य शास्त्र एवं कला। तो कला क्या है कि सौंदर्य के प्रति जो आकर्षित होकर अपनी भावना को अभिव्यक्त करना ही कला है, चाहे वो शास्त्रीय भावना हो सकती है या विषय संबंधी हो सकती है। मनुष्य का जो तरीका, कला को यदि हम सामान्य रूप से समझे तो मनुष्य का जो तरीका है, चाहे उठने बैठने का तरीका, चलने बोलने का तरीका, खाने पीने का तरीका, पहनने का, सजना संवरना, ये सभी कला के अंतर्गत आ जाते हैं। यदि इसको मुख्य रूप से देखें, हम सभी प्रकार के विषय पढ़ते हैं, चाहे साइंस हो, कॉमर्स हो या कंप्यूटर साइंस हो। सभी विषयों को पढ़ने के साथ में संस्कृत विभाग की तरफ से जो पेपर है, इसकी एक विशेषता ये है कि अन्य विषयों में जो फॉर्मूलाज हैं, आप रूल्स रेगुलेशन आप देखते हैं, तो जिस प्रकार हम एक इलेक्ट्रिक से चलने वाला जो रोबोट है, जिस प्रकार उस रोबोट में हम रूल रेगुलेशन फीड करते हैं, उसी प्रकार जब आधुनिक पीढ़ी को हम देखते हैं, आधुनिक बच्चों को, तो रूल्स रेगुलेशन से बच्चा इतना दब जाता है कि वो अन्य क्षेत्र के विषय में सोचने की क्षमता ही नहीं रखता। तो इसके लिए ये पेपर है भारतीय सौंदर्य शास्त्र, इसको ऑफर किया है। मनुष्य की जो संवेदनाएं हैं, मनुष्य का जो मनुष्यत्व है, मनुष्य का जो सोशल अवधारणा है, मनुष्य का जो नैतिक विकास है, सामाजिक विकास है या धार्मिक विकास है, जब तक ये संवेदनाएं आपके अंदर नहीं होंगी, तब तक मनुष्य का विकास संभव नहीं हो सकता, चाहे आप किसी भी विषय को पढ़ लें। क्योंकि शिक्षा का उद्देश्य, भारतीय शिक्षा का जो उद्देश्य है कि मनुष्य का चौमुखी विकास, चारों तरफ से विकास, ना कि एक रोबोट बनाना। और वर्तमान समय में सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है कि जो मनुष्य की संवेदनाएं जो मर चुकी हैं, जो आधुनिक युवा पीढ़ी जो संवेदनाएं मर चुकी हैं या मर रही हैं, उनका उत्थान कैसे हो, सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है। और मनुष्य को मनुष्य कैसे बनाया जाए, तो सौंदर्य शास्त्र हमें सिखाता है कि किस प्रकार हमारी संवेदनाएं, जब हम सौंदर्य शास्त्र को पढ़ते हैं या भारतीय कला पक्ष को पढ़ते हैं, तो हमारे अंदर का मनुष्यत्व जागृत होता है और समाज के प्रति एक संवेदना जागृत होती है। जैसे किसी दुर्बल मनुष्य को देखकर हमारे अंदर दया का भाव उत्पन्न होता है। दया, करुणा, मैत्री, मुदिता, ये जो सत्व भाव भगवान बुद्ध ने कहे हैं या अन्य शास्त्रों में कहे गए हैं या अन्य ग्रंथों में वर्णित हैं, वे जो संवेदनाएं हैं, जब हम सौंदर्य दर्शन की किताबों को पढ़ते हैं कि किस प्रकार से समाज में आचरण करना चाहिए, किस प्रकार से व्यवहार करना चाहिए, ये सभी बच्चों को सिखाने का बहुत अच्छा तरीका है, जो सौंदर्य शास्त्र के माध्यम से संभव है। इसलिए काव्य शास्त्र में आचार्य मम्मट ने और अन्य आचार्यों ने भी कहा है कि भगवान राम की तरह व्यवहार करना चाहिए, ना कि रावण की तरह। जब इस बात को, इस सूक्ति को हम देखते हैं, तो ये आधुनिक जो हमारे बच्चे हैं उनके लिए बहुत आवश्यक है, आधुनिक युवा पीढ़ी को। जहां हम देखते हैं कि कल एक तस्वीर देखी थी मैंने, किसी ने शेयर किया कि जो एक कब्र खोदी हुई और 4 मोबाइल किनारों पर लगे हुए और उस पुस्तक को कब्र के अंदर डाल रहे हैं। तो ये वाला जो समाज आ गया है, जो मोबाइल वाला जो जनरेशन है, जो पुस्तक को देखता ही नहीं है, तो उसके लिए, उन बच्चों के लिए सौंदर्य शास्त्र बहुत आवश्यक है। लेकिन भगवान राम की तरह व्यवहार करना है, बहुत कहना आसान है, लेकिन इसे जीवन में ढालना बहुत कठिन है, आचरण में लाना बहुत कठिन है। डायरेक्ट रूल्स रेगुलेशन को पढ़कर फ्रस्ट्रेट हो जाते हैं आधुनिक बच्चे। जिस प्रकार एक कांता, अर्थात एक जब नाटक होता है तो एक प्रियतमा, एक कांता जब अपने पति को समझाती है, उसी प्रकार एक शास्त्र को इस संस्कृत के पेपर से आप समझ सकते हैं। अगर आप सौंदर्य शास्त्र पढ़ेंगे जीई में, तो चाहे आप केमिस्ट्री, फिजिक्स, कॉमर्स, मैथ कोई भी हो, जब आपके अंदर सौंदर्य विषय के प्रति भाव जागृत होगा, तो आप उसको अच्छे से समझ पाएंगे। इसमें इसके षड संप्रदाय की हम बात करते हैं, जैसे कि अलग अलग चित्र में रस संप्रदाय है, अलंकार संप्रदाय है, ध्वनि संप्रदाय है, रीति संप्रदाय, अन्य 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 प्रकार के संप्रदाय है जो इसको पढ़कर आप समझ सकेंगे। यदि इस पाठ्यक्रम के ऑब्जेक्टिव्स की बात करें, उद्देश्य की बात करें, तो आपको जैसा कि बताया कि सौंदर्य शास्त्र साहित्यिक आलोचना एवं एक महत्वपूर्ण क्षेत्र है आधुनिक समय में, और शैक्षणिक अनुशासन के लिए, शैक्षणिक अनुशासन बनाए रखने के लिए भी बहुत आवश्यक है। साथ ही आप इस पीपीटी में देख पाएंगे कि सौंदर्य शास्त्र साहित्यिक आलोचना का एक शक्तिशाली महत्वपूर्ण क्षेत्र है। साथ ही ये ललित कला के सभी रूपों का विज्ञान है, दर्शन है। भारतीय धारणा, कविता, नाटक, संगीत, वास्तुकला, पेंटिंग इत्यादि रूपों में भी ये स्वीकार किया जाता रहा है। इसके आउटकम्स की बात करें हम, तो जितने भी छात्र इसको लेते हैं तो वे कलात्मक तरीकों, विशेष रूप से कविता को किस प्रकार, शास्त्र को हम पढ़ें किस प्रकार, जो आधुनिक काव्य रचनाएं हैं उनको किस प्रकार समझें, उसमें भी ये सहायता करता है। इस विषय को मुख्य रूप से इस पेपर को 4 यूनिट में विभाजित किया गया है, जिसमें आपका पहला यूनिट जो है, पहले यूनिट में हम देखते हैं कि सौंदर्य शास्त्र और इसके प्राकृतिक घटक कौन कौन से हैं, जिसमें रमणीयता है, लावण्य है, मधुरता है, मनोहरता इत्यादि को देखते हैं। दूसरे यूनिट में, जो सेकंड यूनिट है इसका, सेकंड यूनिट में हम देखते हैं कि सौंदर्य का अनुभव किस प्रकार करें और कौन कौन से रसों का इसमें प्रयोग होता है इत्यादि को। और उसी प्रकार तीसरा जो यूनिट है, थर्ड और फोर्थ जो यूनिट है, इसको हम इस पेपर से संबंधित अर्थात सौंदर्य संबंधी, ब्यूटी से संबंधित जो तत्व हैं, चाहे वो म्यूजिक हो, चाहे वो अलंकार हो, चाहे रीति हो, ये मनुष्य के जो भाव हैं इनको हम देखते हैं। और अंतिम जो यूनिट है जिसमें भारतीय जो एस्थेटिक्स है, इंडियन एस्थेटिक्स है, इससे संबंधित जो आचार्य हैं, जो कविगण हैं, जैसे कि आचार्य भरत, आचार्य भामा, आचार्य वामन, आचार्य आनंदवर्धन इत्यादि के विषय में हम विशेष रूप से पढ़ेंगे। अगर आप इस पेपर को ऑप्ट करते हैं तो संस्कृत विषय को पढ़कर आपके अच्छे अंक भी आते हैं, अच्छे असाइनमेंट भी, और आपके जीवन में जो घटनाएं घर में आपके एवरीडे प्रत्येक दिन जो घटनाएं घटती हैं उनको आप समझने में, आचरण में डालने में सक्षम होंगे। तो मैं अभी लिंक शेयर करूंगा और उम्मीद है कि आप बच्चे जो संस्कार की बात करते हैं संस्कृत भाषा, उसे आप जरूर ऑप्ट करेंगे। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Dr. Ravi. Next, we have Department of Statistics with us.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, Dr. Alok, you are audible. Ravi ji, आप स्क्रीन शेयरिंग बंद कर सकते हैं?
Ma'am, I'm not able to share my screen. Please.
Sorry, sir. एक मिनट।
Yes, Dr. Alok, you may try now.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Alok Singh from Department of Statistics. This semester, Department of Statistics is offering 2 papers in GE, Introductory Probability and Application in Statistics. So, student, statistics and probability are important domains in the scientific world, having many applications in various fields. So, in this paper, basically you will learn about the probability. That probability theory provides information about the likelihood that something will happen. Suppose if I ask, if I toss a coin, so what is the probability of getting head? What is the probability of a ceiling fan falling down? So to answer such type of question, one need to understand the concept of probability. So in this paper, you will learn about the probability theory, basic laws of probabilities, random variables, and probability distribution. Okay, so random variables, this is very important in statistics and probability, and it is one key factors for understanding the probability distribution. Many senior faculties have discussed about the data analysis. Okay, so Okay, suppose if you get a job in a company and you have to perform a data analysis. Okay, the first thing is that you need to understand the pattern of the data. Okay, there are many distributions in statistics. There's some data follows normal distribution, some data follows gamma distribution, some data follows exponential distribution. So first need to understand which type of data you have. Okay, once you get the clear information about the pattern of the data, you can easily perform the data analysis by using the various statistical tools. So these are the learning objective of introductory probability. Understand the meaning of probability and probabilistic experiment. Understand the concept of random variables and familiar with the standard discrete and continuous distribution, which is very useful. Okay, if you opt GE statistics as a GE up to your 6th semester, okay, so I think 60% of statistics you will know. Okay. Now, second paper is application in statistics. Basically, these are the practical application of economics concept such as demand function, utility function, and production function. So, application in statistics, basically there are 4 units. In first units, that is the industrial statistics, official statistics. Okay. I have already shared the syllabus. Okay. So first unit is Indian official statistics. Okay, how the statistical system in India works. You will learn different wings of the MOSPI, means Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. How the data published in a journal. Okay, so in this first unit, you will learn about the Indian official statistics. Second unit, you will learn about the demand analysis. Third unit, you will learn about the utility function. And in fourth unit, you will learn about the production function. These are the practical application of economics concept. Okay, so I will recommend it. So to opt for the introductory probability, that will be helpful for future. And okay, you can contact for any queries to Professor M.K. Shukla, teacher in charge, and you can contact to me as the number is showing on your screen. Thank you.
Dr. Alok, there is a query. Is there any prerequisite for statistics paper?
No.
There is no prerequisite, students. You can join.
You can do. Anyone can opt.
They want to see the syllabus once. If you can, because
I've already syllabus in my previous GE1 statistical method group. Okay.
Okay. You may contact the teacher in the college also. Classes have started. If you have filled a GE form, Google form you have filled, then you can go and contact the department for the classes. There is a common time for all the GE classes. Thank you, Dr. Alok.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next, we have Department of Sociology with us. Dr. Khalid is from Department of Sociology is presenting. Dr. Khalid? You are not audible. Please unmute yourself.
Ma'am, he's not able to, I mean, there's something wrong. To the next.
Okay. For GE groups, students, you may contact the teacher, right? Next, we have Department of Tamil with us. Tamil Department. Department of Telugu. I think Dr. Satish is there.
Madam. Can you hear me?
Hanji, yes.
Andariki namaste. Namaste to all. This year, Department of Telugu going to offer 1 GE paper, Introductory Telugu. Telugu is second largest language, speaking language in India, and it is a classical language. It's useful to the non-Telugu students and the Telugu students who have not studied their mother tongue in their previous classes. It's a good chance to choose this paper and get a brief knowledge about Telugu language and culture. Eligibility: the students who have not studied Telugu up to 8th standard can opt the introductory Telugu paper. The aim of the course is to teach basic language skills in Telugu. Students will get fundamental skills for skills of reading, writing, and speaking in Telugu. This course is divided into 3 units, and it will cover the basic language structure, the activities and functions normally explored by the beginner's syllabus, that is learning Telugu syllable, making simple sentence constructions. In terms of grammar structure, the exercises are at the basic level only. The course will be enable the students to obtain the basic skills of reading, writing, and speaking in Telugu. After completing the course, they can read the construct simple Telugu sentence. You can learn functional everyday conversations in different language usage situations. So the people who are interested to learn a new language and the classical language Telugu, you can opt the Telugu GE paper, introductory Telugu. Thank you. Thank you, Anand.
Thank you, Dr. Satish. Next, we have Department of Zoology.
Yes,
Dr.
ma'am.
Anji.
I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Just a second.
Your screen is not sharing with us, Anjali.
Yeah, I'm trying it. It's desktop one. Just a second.
Meanwhile, I'll take this query. Students are asking what will happen when we don't get the G for which we fill the Google form. Generally, it doesn't happen. More in 99% cases, you get the GE for which you fill the Google form. Please contact the department, concerned department.
Dr. Dipti?
Yes, sir. Department of Tamil. Yes, sir.
Department of Tamil. Dear students, Vanakkam Tamil Manavargale. I am Professor Srinivasan from Tamil Department. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. The Tamil Department introducing 2 GE papers for this second semester students. One paper is Tamil students and the second paper is non-Tamil students. Okay. For Tamil students, the paper is Introduction to Comparative Studies in Tamil. This aim of this paper is to teach the students
to read literature as the source of understand and explain the comparative literature. Comparative literature is an academic area dealing with the study of literature and cultural expression across linguistics, national, geographic, and disciplinary boundaries. It will train the students to write on the specialized subject of the comparative literature and culture with the help of history text, and to incorporate this knowledge in introducing of literature and other studies. This paper will enhance the ability in language usage by developing the technical terminology of the specific fields of knowledge. This paper contains 4 credits for this Tamil knowing students. And the second paper is non-Tamil students. The title of the paper is Pre-Intermediate Tamil. The paper title is Pre-Intermediate Tamil. This paper also 4 credits paper. This paper is designed for students who have the primary knowledge of the Tamil language and can make as well as figure out simple sentences. The course aims to enable them figuring out as well as constructing compound and complex sentences in Tamil. Furthermore, the course will enable the students achieving skills to comprehend small passages, writing short paragraphs, and having better conversational skills. The course will teach them the basic rules of translation as well. We are floating 2 papers for second semester to students from Tamil department, and you can contact me in the Department of Tamil, room number 8, and I have shared my email also. You can contact with me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, there is a message from Dr. Ashish from Political Science Department, since he's getting queries from students that when the classes will begin. So he has just informed that they'll finalize the list and by next Monday, they will start their classes.
Dr. Anjali, are you with us? Okay, so we move on to the next department. Department of Environment Science, Dr. Pankaj is with us. Dr. Pankaj?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sharing the screen.
Okay.
Ma'am, my screen is visible.
Yes, your screen is very much visible.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Pankaj from Department of Environmental Sciences, and I will give you the overview of general elective course on wetlands for industries and environment, which will be offered by our department in this semester. So wetlands are very important for industry as well as the environment. And in this course, we aim to educate students about the importance of wetlands for the treatment of wastewater, as well as being the habitat for so many animals as well as for plants. So this course will be of 4 credits, and these credits will be divided into 2 components. The 2 components are for the 2 credits is for the practical component and 2 for the theory components. The minimum eligibility criteria for this course will be 12th pass from any stream, and there are no prerequisite for this course. The overall syllabus for this course will be like 3 units from for the theory, and there will be a total field-based 8 practicals. And these 3 units in the theory components will be will touch the different aspects of the wetland. For example, the ecology and the social economic perspective on the wetlands, how these wetlands in the second units will be of on that how we can use these wetlands for the wastewater treatment. And the third unit will be based on how we can manage the health of these ecosystems, how we can use these ecosystem for the industrial applications. The learning objective from this course will be how the students will be, they will identify the different common plants and indicators of the wetland, how they can assess the different landscape for the conservation as well as the management of these wetlands, how they can plan some restoration or construction plan for the wetland. And they will also learn about how they can suggest some effective wetland regulation laws and policies. And after completion of this course, we expect from them that how they will be able to apply different principles of wastewater treatment for environmental as well as the industrial application. They will also be able to develop different plans for monitoring the wetland health, as well as they will be able to design the constructed wetland, which are used in many places for the treatment of sewage as well as the industrial effluents. And after this, they will be able to operate as well as they will be able to maintain the wetland in nature as well as in the industries. So we encourage them to opt for this course, because it will be a comprehensive learning experience for them, as this course cover wide range of topic related to wetlands, such as the ecology of wetland, the socio-economy of these wetland, the management of this wetland, as well as the water treatment of these wetlands. So this will provide a comprehensive understanding of the wetland as well as their importance to the students. And as I told, that there are 8 practicals which are mostly field based, so they will get an opportunity to visit different wetlands as well as constructed wetland which are there in the Delhi and around the Delhi area. This course is also very relevant to industries, because it focuses on the wetland for both industrial as well as environmental as well as the industrial application. So this will make it relevant for students who want to work in the industries and they can work there as a management in the management of these wetlands. And this also will be a career advancement opportunity for this, because they will gain the knowledge and skills which are important for the environmental management of these wetlands, the water treatment, and other related fields. So that's all for this course. I encourage students to opt for this course. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pankaj. You may share your contact details and the Google form link in the chat box.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
From Sociology Department, is anybody with? Yes, Dr.
Good evening. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible.
Lovely. Good evening, everyone. I'll try to share my screen. Okay. Okay. So I hope the screen is visible.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a GE course offered by the Department of Sociology. It's on gender, power, and violence. And what we aim to do through it's a 4-credit course, 3 for lecture and 1 for tutorial. Our objectives are that through this course, what we're trying to do is what we will try to do is that we'll examine various expressions of gendered violence in different contexts and their ramifications. In that, what we're seeking to do is we're seeking to have a conceptual clarity of what gender is. Not just the conceptual clarity of what gender is, but how gender is situated in various social institutions, what goes into the construction of gender, what are the ramifications of such constructions, what is the situatedness of such constructions. And once we get a clarity of what gender is, we discuss the ideas of power, we discuss the ideas of violence. And we don't just discuss brute physical power, we discuss symbolic power, we discuss the situatedness of power, we discuss the routine forms of violence, we discuss the spectacular forms of violence. the violence of the everyday life, which don't necessarily have to be physical in nature. This paper also seeks to look at various social movements, the resistance movements against gender violence. It seeks to investigate what goes into the construction of the idea of gender. And it also seeks to deconstruct the very idea of gender, the very idea of violence. It's divided into 3 units. The first unit seeks to develop a clarity on what is gender. So we build with the conceptual framework of what do we understand when we say gender, what do we understand about the term violence. And I'd like to point it out that when we speak of violence, we, in this paper in particular, we do not necessarily stick to physical violence. We look at other forms of violence, including symbolic violence, and we deconstruct those notions. We look at their situatedness. And once we do that, we look at what the embodiments of violence is. So we look at sites of violence and how different social institutions are have a gendered component to them, and how violence takes place in those different institutions. With that, we move to the second unit, where we discuss the ideas of power, the ideas of violence. Again, different kinds of power, different kinds of violence, their situatedness, and how do they interplay with this conceptual category of gender. We also look at nation state and the use of sexual violence or violence, gendered violence in the name of security. We look at invisibilized vulnerabilities, in which we look at the political economy of gendered violence. We look at the body politic. We look at all of that. We also would be engaging with documentaries, adaptations, the audiovisual material that's suggested in the syllabus. For any queries, you can reach out to me at my email address that I have already shared in the chat box. I would share the same message again for the Google form and my contact number. We already have 48 responses to our Google form, and there are no prerequisites. Anybody can join. We already have students from life sciences, zoology, English, political science. It's a very diverse class. So the diversity also brings a component of interdisciplinary approaches to studying all these conceptual categories, which would, I hope, make this paper even more engaging. So thank you, and looking forward to an engaging semester with all the students.
Thank you, Dr. Khalid. And we have.
I would like to present it now. Dr.
Yes,
Anjali
yes,
from Zoology
yes,
Department.
yes.
In my system, it's not working. So Anita ma'am is there, our TIC. So I think she maybe present her.
Okay,
present the
I'll do
slides.
that. I will do that. Where is the presentation? Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Deepti, just move on to the next. I'll just look out for their I'll download that presentation. It will take me a while.
Ma'am, you are the last.
Oh, EVS का हो गया?
हाँ जी मैम, EVS का हो गया. I think Dr. Anjali had some technical issues.
That was the problem.
Generally, I'm able to share my screen, but I don't know at this point of time.
Okay, does it show now?
Yes, ma'am, it is there. Please make it a presentation mode.
Okay. Now, is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So Department of Zoology this time offering this paper with title Lifestyle Disorders as generic elective for the semester 2. Okay, ma'am, please next slide. So what are lifestyle disorders? Lifestyle disorders can be defined as diseases linked with one's lifestyle. These diseases are non-communicable diseases, and some of the unhealthy lifestyle causing various disorders are lack of physical activity, unhealthy eating, high alcohol consumption, substance use disorders, and smoking tobacco. Next slide, please. So this slide shows you that there are so many diseases many are manifested due to unhealthy lifestyle. Okay, so the branches show the various diseases which are there: heart disease, hormonal imbalance, hypertension, cancer, anxiety, diabetes, thyroid problem. So the root cause for them is unhealthy diet, inactivity, lack of socializing, smoking and alcohol, stress, and lack of sleep. So this is the general introduction. We all are aware of this. So what does this course offer you? This course offers you the concept of health, nutrition, and the factors affecting it, the prevalence of emerging health issues affecting the quality of life, different physical and psychological associated disorders, and their management for a healthy lifestyle. Important lifestyle related disorders, we will be studying them in depth, and we will describe the risk and remedies in relation to adopting a better life through this paper. Next slide, ma'am.
It is not going any further, Anjali. The presentation you sent me has just this much.
There are more slides.
Acha, yahan pe
maybe they are not downloaded.
Maybe they're not downloaded. You can just tell them.
Okay, so
major
after studying this paper, you will, you will have a better understanding of lifestyle choices and the diseases associated with them. You will have an in-depth understanding of making better lifestyle decisions, and then you will learn various techniques for preliminary diagnosis of lifestyle disorders. Right? This syllabus includes, in total, 6 units. So first unit is related to the introduction to lifestyle. And then the second, third, fourth, fifth units, the next 4 units are related to major lifestyle disorders like diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular diseases, and cancer, hypertension. So these are the main 5 diseases which people are facing due to their unhealthy lifestyle. So we will be studying in depth about all these diseases, the risk factors, and how we can cure them, or how we can prevent them. So, and the last unit is related to WHO Global Action Plan and monitoring. Okay, and the practical component include the basic techniques to to diagnose these problems, these diseases, like estimation of blood glucose, how to take blood pressure using sphygmomanometer, then calculation of BMI, then the concept of CT scan, MRI. So all these things we will study in practical. There are 2 credit points per theory and 2 credit points for practical. So of course you will learn a lot after studying this paper, and you can implement your knowledge in your life and in the life of your near and dear ones. So by implementing all this knowledge to yourself, you can have a better life and better lifestyle. You can avoid the lifestyle disorders. So I think that's all. We have already we have floated the form link. I will share the link on the chat box as well. And but we have capacity of 40 students only, because our lab strength we can have sitting of only 40 students. So we will be taking the students on first come first serve basis. So that's all. Thank you and welcome to the zoology department.
Dr. Anjali, there are certain queries. The students are asking, is it, do we need to be of science background to understand this paper?
Up to 12th you should have. The prerequisite of this course is, no, it's nil. Actually,
No.
There is
Anjali,
no
we are we're welcoming all the students from all courses, because it's simple, basic science.
Yes.
Simple, basic lifestyle things. So everybody is welcome there.
And students are also asking, when are you releasing the list of the students registered for this paper? Means you said 40 students ka strength hai.
We just waiting for all the students to register, And once we reach up to say the 50 mark, then we will cut it off, because then we expect a few students to be moving as well.
Okay. So means there is still scope. Students can still apply.
Yeah, students can apply, and then we will select them out and then release the list by maybe another 3-4 days time.
So
And then
students,
we'll
there is
start
still
with our
scope.
classes.
Yes, you may still register for this paper. Any background student can do so.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you, ma'am.
So students, if you still have some queries, you may type in the question answer box. We have shared all the Google Forms with you. Regarding physical education, yes, Dr. Narendra Gaur is busy at the university. He has some work, so he was not able to be present here. I think I had some of you only shared the information that the provisional list of the registered students of physical education is out. For any further queries, you may contact him. Any other query? It is requested to all please turn on their camera so that we can have a quick group picture.
Okay, done, ma'am. Thank you.
So I would like to thank all the teachers who took out time from their busy schedule and really presented about the content of the GE paper, about the eligibility and the benefits and prerequisite of different GE papers. I'm sure it will help students to choose GE paper for the second semester as per their interest. And I would like to thank Criteria 1 team, Dr. Arpita, Dr. Sunita, Dr. Rekha, Dr. Rajbi for helping coordinating the event. I would also like to thank system administration at the back end for all the support and help. And lastly, but not the least, thank you to all the students for making it useful. Thank you all.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Deepti, the coordinator of Criteria 1. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes, zoology link, please share in the chat box before leaving. Zoology GE paper link. Yeah, it is there.
Yes, it is shared.
It is shared. You can share it with everyone.